Live na po.
All right, so we'll just share this live broadcast to our page para mas marami. Teka lang, Lian, hindi ko pa siya nakikita. Wow. Okay. And okay, let's share this. Let's share.
Live na po.
Okay. Ayun, narinig ko na yung live na po. Oops. Ay. Okay, let's share. Uh-huh.
Kita ko na.
All right, it's already 4:48 in the afternoon. Nag-broadcast tayo ng maaga-aga. Magandang hapon sa'yo, VP Ellen.
Magandang hapon, President Ruby.
At magandang hapon sa inyo mga ka-Pix Pro. At sa ating background ay si Secretariat natin at sexing-sexing si Len. Magandang hapon sa iyo, Len. Alright, so another casing na naman tayo this Friday and I'm so happy na NCR ulit ang toka this Friday. So, and ang topic natin is, uh, ano to dito, isa sa malalapit sa akin because I used to kind of like do that somewhere down the road. All right. So, at syempre, bago pa tayo pumunta dun sa ating topic, babatiin ko muna kayo ng Merry Christmas. 100,
Merry Christmas!
yeah,
It's
hundred
the
eleven
bear
days.
months.
111 days to go, sabi kanina sa balita. So makikishare ako ng ganong info. It's 111 days to go before Christmas. Ayan. Okay. And yung iba ay nag-shopping na. Galing ako kanina sa isang supermarket, a big supermarket chain. Grabe, meron dong 36,000 pesos na Christmas tree. No? Naisip ko, sinong bibili nito? Pero naisip ko, ang dami nga pala mga contractors ngayon. Sorry na.
Bariyang-barya. Meron nga ako nakita yung Christmas tree niya, yung mga palamuti niya, puro mga labubu, dolls. Grabe, imagine. Grabe talaga.
Oo.
So, well, ganun
Ganda.
talaga.
Meron din yung ano ba yun? Lululemon?
Mm.
Don't even know what that brand is, pero sabi lang mahal. Ang alam ko lang lemon.
Mga ano yon sportswear.
Yeah, oo, yun yung mga
Lululemon.
lemon lang ang alam ko. Alright. So, anyway, so basta may munting dekorasyon sa bahay ay okay na, sapat na, no? Yan, ano muna tayo, VPRN, mag-hi and hello muna tayo sa ating mga ka-Pix Pro.
Mm-mm.
At dun sa mga naka-tune in na, please share this live broadcast sa inyong page para mas marami tayong ma-reach na ating mga kababayan at maraming matutunan dito sa ating afternoon discussion. No? Yeah. Okay. So,
Ayan.
simulan ko
So,
na. Sige, go ahead, VP Allen.
ayan, kikita ko na, nag-join sa atin ang Justin. Magandang hapon, Justin, Alina, Hershey from Bacolod.
Wow, hello sa inyo. At si Jean Jensen from Ultra Sky Solutions Limited. Hello sa'yo.
Si,
Si Kershey. Yeah.
si Hershey, si Kate Victorio. Magandang hapon.
Hello, Sexy Kate. Magandang hapon sa'yo. Ayan, yan. And we have here, may mga fans dito, oh. mukhang nabayaran na ba? Si Kershie, ba? Miss Ellen. Oh, go to Miss Ellen.
Banat.
Meron daw kayong bonus, Kershie, tsaka Alina.
Mm.
Ayan. And si John Walneth Castillo.
Castillo.
Good afternoon po, ma'am. Ayan, okay. Shout out sa lahat ng ating chapters. No, we have the Central Visayas chapter. We also have Aurora chapter,
Mhm.
Quezon, and we have
May Bacolod din tayo, di ba?
yes, we do. Sa Bacolod, and we also have LU, La Union chapter, and sino ba yung nakalimutan ko? And very soon we're gonna have the Zamboanga and the Ilocos and yung Bulacan. Hello, hello dyan, Sir Ray. Hindi ka pa man nagla-live inano na kita. Shout out na kita para makatikim na kami ng Bulacan sweets. Yeah. Oh, wow. At sabi naman ni Sexy Kate, ang pretty na mga host today po. So nice naman, Miss Kate. Thank you so much. Ayan. May nakikita ka pa ba dyan?
And magandang hapon kay Joy Cabral from Ascot. And then, magandang hapon and welcome, Mr. Michael Reyes and A ba to? Chap Felix. Magandang hapon. And of course, ang ating regular si Mr. Mario Enteria. Hello,
Yes.
sir.
Si Sir is one of the VPs natin sa Quezon chapter. Hello sa iyo, Sir. Magandang hapon. Batiin din natin ang bagong miyembro sa NCR, si Jeru Magtahas. Hello sa iyo, Jeru. Makipag-ugnayan. Makipag-ugnayan, parang police station. Maki Please get in touch with us kasi you're gonna have a GMM. So, lagi ka lang mag-station. Okay?
Mm.
Yan. At si VP Mike. Naku, nasan kaya si VP Mike? No, sabi niya
I'm here.
Ito si
afternoon.
Sir,
Nandiyan na
VIP,
siya!
ayun nga, si VP
Hello,
Mike.
VP Mike!
Good afternoon.
Magandang hapon
Open
din.
camera naman dyan, VP Mike.
Spectator muna ako saglit. May tinatapos lang ako. Sorry, sorry.
Alright. O sige, basta nandiyan dyan ka. Hello, hello sa'yo. VP Mike. Yan, okay. And what do we have here? Another new member from Silang Cavite, si Chap Abe Felix or Felix. Yan. Okay. Ayan.
Nanonood na rin si Mr. Chair. Magandang hapon, Mr. Chair.
Magandang hapon sa iyo, Mr. Chair. And ayan. Okay, sino pa ba yung nakalimutan ko, Len? Batiin lahat na, no? And then,
Oh, I
okay,
think you're able. Yeah.
yung shout out din sa University of Makati, no? And University of St. LaSalle, kung saan tayo may mga MOUs, may mga Memorandum of Agreement or Understanding tayo with these two prestigious schools. And soon we're gonna have one of um, state universities in the Philippines. Magkaroon na rin tayo ng MOU with them. And
Mm.
also, one of the universities
Mm.
is somewhere bandang norte, bandang area ng Bulacan, Novaliches. Yeah. Okay. Ang sabi ni Chap, Abby Felix, may Cavite chapter na po ba? Chap, parang ikaw ang magsisimula nito. Okay. Go, 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 Chap Abby Felix. Gawa tayo ng
Meron din
Cavite.
from Muntinlupa City, si Michael Reyes. Mukhang magsa-start din si Michael ng chapter sa Muntinlupa.
Yeah, oo nga. And greetings from Doha, Qatar, lifetime member.
Oh,
Hello sa'yo, Linelio Opida Morga. Yan.
nice.
Right. And we also have Aristeo Marasigan. Yeah, Kapix Pro, magandang hapon sa'yo. Alright, go, go, go daw. NCR chapter, sabi ni Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, marami kaming mga activities ngayon na invite ka namin. Huwag mo lang kaming tatanggihan na dati hinahanapan mo kami ng activities. Ito na ngayon. So, yes ka lang to all invites.
Oo. NCR chapter on steroids kami ngayon, Mr. Chair.
Alright. And we also have si Raylene Ann. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hi, Raylene from Bacolod.
Ayan.
Pati si John Manrique. Hi, John.
Oh, John. Oh, John. Para siyang John Manrique. All right. So it's 4:57. Okay. We have some more um minutes. Pero let's welcome yung ating VP for Cares, si Attorney GB.
Good evening, Press. Good afternoon, Press, and good afternoon, VP Ellen. Hello po.
Ayan, good
Hi,
afternoon.
attorney. Good afternoon.
Ayan.
And sino ba ba? And good afternoon, VP Mike. Yan po.
Good afternoon, Attorney.
Ayan, okay. So, all right. So, I guess we can already start kasi this is really a very, very interesting topic, no, na laging napapanahon. But wait, meron pang humahabol si Press Alan. Ayan, from Bacolod, no? Good afternoon sa iyo, Press Alan. At si Jay Bucane. Hello, magandang hapon. Yan, may isa-shoutout ka ba, Attorney GB?
Shoutout sa lahat po ng members ng PixPro at yung mga yung mga nanonood every Friday ng KC. And of course, sa lahat po ng members ng Rotary Club of Rizal Midis.
Ayan, oo. I understand tomorrow magkakaroon kayo tayo na activity with them.
Yes po, sa Anilao, parang run clean dive. So,
yeah, yeah, can you give us a short background of this?
Ano po siya, a project with Salvi Dive Team saka Sagwan. Ano siya, it's parang Dragon Boat team po. And then to to do a parang clean up po nung lugar. And at the same time po sa morning, meron muna po parang run muna. Yan po.
Ayan, and this is a joint project between the Rotary and the PixPro NCR, but we will be very well represented by Attorney GV tomorrow. Tama ba?
Apo.
Okay. Nag-freeze na si Attorney GV. Okay, so it's already 5 o'clock. I think we should do the proper yung discussion natin. Okay, so for this afternoon, we're gonna be discussing about and we will learn why governance is the backbone of cybersecurity. And to help us with this topic, we have the Chief Operating Officer and Senior Partner of Angel Tire Doble and Associates company, CISO as a Service. This is a managed services company that delivers end-to-end cybersecurity solutions. She brings with her more than 20 years of experience in the telecommunications industry. She began her career as a programmer and tester, then business analyst, then grew into leadership roles as a project and program manager, governance head, and eventually the Deputy Chief Information Security Officer or CISO of the Philippines' largest telco company. She served as the Vice President in PLDT and Smart's Cybersecurity Operations Group, where she played a key role in strengthening the organization's security posture. And currently, she just took her oath as the Vice President of PixPro NCR Chapter for Strategic Alliance. And this contributes to her expertise in uplifting the country's cybersecurity community. Throughout her career, she has led initiatives in governance, risk, and compliance, or simply called GRC, supply chain risk assessments, incident response, and the development of cybersecurity policies and frameworks. And beyond her professional achievements, she is also passionate about making cybersecurity simple, relatable, and actionable, especially for students and aspiring professionals who represent the next generation of cyber defenders. So, ladies and gentlemen, mga Kapix Pro, please join me in welcoming our VP for Strategic Alliance, Ms. Ellen Salosod. Ellen?
Thank you. Thank you very much, President Pres Ruby, for that kind introduction. And magandang hapon sa inyong lahat, mga Kapix Pro. Maraming salamat for joining us this afternoon regarding the discussion of our topic about simplifying the rules and real impact. That's cracking the code on cyber governance. I know na yung word na governance, minsan it sounds intimidating, it sounds big and complicated. But this afternoon, we'll break it down to you in such a way that it's simple and relatable. So, for this session, think of it as a guide. First, let's learn about the basics of cybersecurity. Ano ba ang cybersecurity in simple terms? And how does it protect systems, data, people, and even the intelligence? Second, which is yung topic natin for this afternoon, let's explore what cybersecurity is all about. Ano ba yung mga rules, responsibilities, and accountability that makes cybersecurity strong all the time? And then third, let's make it real. Ano ba yung mga actual global incidents na nangyari that shows kung ano ang ini-expect natin na scenario kapag nag-work ang cybersecurity, and then what will happen if it fails? Our objective this afternoon is by the end of the session, you'll see na ang cyber governance, hindi lang yan pa mga executives. Hindi lang din yan para sa mga malalaking organization. Actually, in our small acts of habits and small acts of being aware on how we implement cybersecurity, lahat tayo may role in terms of cybersecurity governance. But before we dive into the details and framework about cyber governance, i-ground muna natin yung sarili natin. Let's dive into the reality. And ito yung mga isa naming laging sinasabi sa cyber governance na unfortunately, kapag ikaw ay cybersecurity resource, ang una mong naiisip yung mga sexy stuff na gusto ko mag-set up ng firewall, gusto ko mag-set up ng mga endpoint advanced security. And unfortunately, yung governance, risk management, and compliance management are often the undervalued discipline. So for this afternoon, we wanted to show that cybersecurity isn't just a theory. Hindi to nice to have. In fact, it is a mandated and very important pillar in terms of implementing cybersecurity. Kasi kapag ito ay nag-fail, it makes a global headline. So around the world, we can see na yung mga malalaking companies and even governments suffer massive disruption. Hindi dahil ina-attack sila ng mga cyber security criminals or cyber threat actors. But most of the time, merong failure in the implementation of governance. Implementation and the governance on the people side, processes, technology, and even intelligence. So this afternoon, umpisahan natin yung discussion natin by looking back. Ano ba yung mga globally known cases that shows us kung anong mangyayari kapag nag-fail ang governance? First is what happened last 2016. So alam niyo naman yung Uber, di ba? So Uber, this is the application on looking for car na maghahatid sa inyo in whatever destination that you wanted to go in. So last 2016, nagkaroon sila ng data breach and it was noted that 57 million data of both the customer as well as the drivers were hacked or were stolen. So unfortunately, yung leaders ng Uber, they prioritize image or reputation versus doing the right thing. Ang ginawa nila, they secretly connected with the threat actors and then they paid them $100,000 and asked them to keep quiet. And the worst part about it is that kinausap nila itong mga threat actors na to and gusto nilang palabasin na hindi sila na-hack but instead, yung binayad nilang $100,000 is actually a payment as a bug bounty program. So alam niyo may bug bounty, di ba, na parang if yung isang grupo, mahanap sila ng mga vulnerabilities doon sa system, kapag meron silang na-prove na weak spots or vulnerabilities, meron yung mga karampatang payment. So ganun siya pinalabas ng leadership ng Uber. So unfortunately, this decision has led into scandal. So kung titignan natin, itong incident na to ng Uber, it's not just a failure on the technology side. Hindi siya as simple as failure on the password or the use of or firewall. Clearly, there was a governance issue. So it was a failure on the people and the ethical governance wherein yung leadership nga, they chose image over transparency, violating accountability as well as trust. Also very evident na walang matibay na governance framework that is in place that guides the leadership and as well as the employees on how to act in case meron tayong mga incidents. And ito yung lagi nating sinasabi. Cyber governance, hindi lang yan puro controls. It's all about the rules, responsibilities, and ethics that will guide the leaders as well as employees kapag may mga gantong unlikely incident. And as we always say, yung technology alone cannot protect us. Governance ensure that the people do the right thing when things go wrong. That's why when ethical governance fails, then trust is lost. Another incident happened last 2020 to 2021. So kung mapapansin nyo, isang taon. So ganyan kalupit yung nangyari dito sa SolarWinds hack. So what happened here is that yung attackers slipped in malicious code doon sa software update ng SolarWinds Orion. And I just wanted to stress si SolarWinds is a trusted tool provider that is being used worldwide. And when this happened, around 18,000 were affected, including the US government agencies. So ang nangyari dito, in a stealth mode side, the attackers are lingering doon sa infrastructure ng mga baited or ng mga victim, having access doon sa mga critical systems. And nakakalungkot lang kasi si SolarWinds being a trusted tool, siya pa yung naging source ng mga gantong klaseng compromises. So what does it tells us? Number one, hindi to simple na technical exploit. It was a failure on people, it was a failure on the supply chain governance, and it was a failure on the intelligence governance. Lagi yung tatandaan, kapag meron tayong failure on the governance, lagi yung two-way. Merong failure on the governance doon sa supplier, which is the vendor, and then meron din tayong failure sa side ng customer. Sa side ni SolarWinds, kasi nung nangyari, yung pumutok tong incident na to, I remember it was pandemic and si Sir Angel during that time was leading the cybersecurity of the biggest telco in the company. So we had this meeting with them and we found out na wala pala silang CISO, na yung cybersecurity is just being handled by a technical top management. So ang impact nun, syempre kapag technical ka or IT ka, ang nagiging focus mo is how do I run the system and make it up all the time? So nagkaroon ng competing demand. Ano bang ipa-prioritize ko? Security or yung IT systems? So yun yung isa sa mga governance failure that we saw. Walang isang tao na accountable and responsible when it comes to implementing the cybersecurity, most especially kapag meron na mga incidents such as this. Another failure is on the supply chain governance. So definitely, ito naman sa side to ng customer. There was a vendor oversight weakness. Ang problema kasi sa atin, lagi namin itong sinasabi ni Sir Angel when we were running the cyber operations sa PLDT and Smart na let's never ever fall in love with our vendors. Kasi ang nangyayari, dahil may pangalan yan, kung ano man yung isinusubo sa atin, kung ano man yung binibigay sa atin, we are just freely accepting it. Kasi we trust them having this name na lahat ng ginagawa nila is tama. So definitely, meron tong supply chain governance failure sa side ng customers, which brings to the risk na tayo mga customer is lagi nating hinaharap when dealing with our vendors. So it's very, very important that we have a good patch management process in place. And at the same time, yung tinatawag natin predictive capability. It's very important that we have information about upcoming attacks before it reaches our environment. Unfortunately, dito sa SolarWinds, yung mga early warnings were missed. Imagine yung threat actor has been lingering doon sa environment for months without being detected. So it only goes to show na itong SolarWinds is an example of how a single governance gap in supply chain can create global consequences. And as we say, when leadership, vendor oversight, and intelligence fail, trusted updates becomes the attacker's backdoors. And then lastly, of course, sino ang hindi nakakaalam or naka-recognize dito sa BSOD or Blue Screen of Death? So this is an incident that happened last July 2024, wherein si CrowdStrike, another known cybersecurity company, released a faulty update of its Falcon sensor software. The result? Millions of Windows-based devices crash with the blue screen of death. So kung titignan natin to, hindi siya directly cybersecurity issue, but kasi hindi siya caused by cyber criminals. But it is identified as a failure on the process governance. Number one, there was a weak change management process because it lacked proper safeguards. Another is process on the testing side. Testing was insufficient and looks like yung mga updates is minadali. So, etong outage na to, definitely lagi may governance issue and then ano ba yung risk sa side ng customer. So again, babalik na naman tayo dun sa poor process on the patch management and then poor process in terms of managing our vendors. So kung makikita nyo, laging interrelated yung governance as well as yung risk management. Kaya yung implementation natin ng cybersecurity, very, very important yung governance, not only just the things that we can see, which are the technology implementation. So this CrowdStrike outage reminds us that cybersecurity failures doesn't always come from cyber criminals. Sometimes, or ngayon, dumadalas na, it happens because merong weak implementation of governance sa mga companies natin. That's why it's very important na tinitreat natin yung cyber governance with utmost importance because it ensures that the processes like testing, kung ano yung mga accountability ng mga tao, and oversight and managing our partners are in place so that yung mga tools, yung mga technologies, yung mga investments natin are protected at hindi sila nagagamit para maging reason para hindi natin magawa ang ating mga trabaho at hindi natin magamit yung mga investments natin. So that's why when process governance fails, one rush update can crash the world. So now that we've seen how governance failures impact in the real world cases, nakita natin that it can disrupt the industries and even yung buong nation kasi napaparalyze yung operation. Kung titignan natin from the data breaches, supply chain attacks, and even outages, hindi ito isolated na IT problems. Ito ay katibayan na ang mundo or the world we live in today has a new front line. Meron na tayong bagong battlefield. So as we look in our today's landscape, it's very important to understand na hindi lang tayo nagdi-deal sa mga technical stuff. Hindi lang mga technical issues or IT issues ang hinaharap natin. We are operating in a new kind of domain, the modern battlefield. In the past, yung mga laban natin ay nangyayari sa sea, sa land, sa air, and then came in space. But today, we live in the digital world, and thus the rise of the new domain warfare, the cyberspace. And all these domains are interconnected, and the glue that binds them together, that holds them together, and secures them together is none other than cybersecurity. And just like any other domains, we need rules, we need accountability, and we need the strategy which pertains to cyber governance. So what exactly is cybersecurity? In simple term, it is as simple as protecting our digital world. So ano yung mga yon? Systems, networks, and all the applications that we use every day. So we need to protect them from any attacks or breaches or leaks. And these attacks aren't just random. Usually, mga threat actors or hackers are after three things. Number one, information. They wanted to steal our information. They wanted to change our data. Second, which is most of the time is yung kanilang motivation, it's about money. They wanted to extort us or scam us. And then lastly, usually ito yung mga state-sponsored actors, threat actors, they wanted to have disruption. They want to stop services from being given to the customers because they wanted to cause chaos. And to fight this, cybersecurity combines technology, processes, people. Yes, people, kasama tayo doon. And most especially, intelligence. Yung intelligence dito, hindi to yung IQ ha. When you say intelligence here, this is the cyber threat intelligence. And this is what sets cybersecurity apart. Cyber threat intelligence is very important because this helps us connect the dots. Ito yung mga tumitingin ng mga patterns on the different malicious things that's happening before it reaches the infrastructure or our systems. And ito yung nagbibigay sa atin ng information on how to predict the attackers from doing their thing sa ating infrastructure. This gives us input on how to be 10 steps ahead of the game para nakokombat natin yung mga cyber criminals in doing their stuff. And that's what makes cybersecurity very, very powerful. So why is cybersecurity important? Number one, it's all about protection of sensitive data. It protects our private information. It keeps our personal, financial, and even company data safe from any threat actors and leaks. Second, it prevents financial loss. It helps avoid big costs because cyber attacks are very, very expensive. So good cybersecurity helps prevent loss of money as well as loss of our business. Third, it's all about ensuring business continuity. So we need to keep our business up and running. It helps our systems, our computers, and all of the different applications that we use to stay online and avoid situations wherein nasa shutdown siya kasi napaparalyze ng ransomware, ng viruses, or any kind of attacks. And then fourth, compliance with regulation. It's all about following the rules. Sa Pilipinas, there is a law that requires all of the companies to protect the data, and cybersecurity helps them or helps these companies to stay compliant as well as to avoid fines. And then lastly, of course, para sa ating mahal na Pilipinas, we need to protect our national security. It's all about protecting our country. And it's very important because cybersecurity defends our important systems, lalong-lalo na yung mga critical infrastructure such as power, water, telecommunication, and even our banking and health sector na alam naman natin na kapag ito ay napadapa at hindi na natin magamit, it will really cause chaos nationwide. So kung mapapansin nyo, almost in everything that we do, puro online na. Whether we're studying, working, shopping, banking, and even connecting with our friends. So just like the real world, yung mga threat actors, they're always online as well. That's why cybersecurity is very important kasi it helps us protect our information, keep us our money, and even save our identities from being stolen. So we need to understand further what cybersecurity is and ano pa ba yung mga ibang components na importante when we are talking about cybersecurity. And most of the time, ito yung napapansin ko sa mga nakakausap ko. When they hear the word cybersecurity, they often imagine codes, yung mga hackers na naka-hoodies, and other complicated machines. But really, cybersecurity is very simple. Parang it's as simple as if we are protecting our house or our homes. So, di ba sa pag pinoprotect natin yung bahay natin, our main goal is to keep the bad guys outside of our house and to keep the people who are living in the house as well as the possessions and assets safe and protected inside. So, with with this being said, let's compare cybersecurity looking through the lens of a house. So look at this house. So every day, without even thinking about it, automatic na sa atin eh. Alam na natin kung paano natin ipoprotect yung bahay natin. Number one, bago tayo matulog, we ensure na nilalak natin yung gate, nilalak natin yung doors. Also, bago tayo umalis ng bahay natin, we make sure na sinasarado natin yung bintana. Minsan, sobrang praning ako, binababa ko pa yung mga, ang tawag doon, yung mga breakers para lang ma-ensure na kapag nagkaroon ng short circuit, hindi siya magiging cause ng sunog ng bahay. And then, syempre, pag lalabas ako ng bahay, ilalak ko pa rin siya. At ang lock ko, hindi lang siya basta lock, meron pang deadbolt. And then, another is, kapag meron tayong susi sa pintuan natin, we just don't give our access sa mga hindi natin kakilala or those people na hindi naman dapat pumapasok sa bahay natin. And for some others na sobrang praning, nag-i-install pa ng mga CCTV, meron pang mga electric fences, and then meron pang mga guard dogs na nilalagay sa bahay nila. So bakit natin to ginagawa? Hindi dahil sa nag-expect tayo na merong nagbe-break-in. Well, paranoid mindset naman talaga tayo. But we really wanted to prevent that from happening. And we wanted to prevent that someone will sneak in sa bahay natin. And parang ganun si cybersecurity, yung mga phones natin, applications, and computers. Parang yan yung mga doors and bintana natin na nagiging attack entry point ng mga intruders. And just like in real life, one unlocked door open is all it takes para pasukin tayo ng mga burglars or threat actors. Kaya, it's very, very important na yung mga little habits natin matters. In cybersecurity, a strong password is like a sturdy lock. Yung multi-factor authentication, parang ito yung alarms or deadbolt. And then, in terms of behavior naman, we always check suspicious emails before we click or we send. So parang ito yung ginagawa natin na before natin buksan yung pintuan natin, we look into the peephole and check kung trusted ba yung papasok ng pintuan natin. So at the end of the day, cybersecurity is about building smart habits. Ito dapat yung mga habits na tumatatak sa DNA natin kasi meron tayong cybersecurity or security mindset. In the same way na kung paano natin pinoprotektahan yung mga bahay natin. And as we say, we always wanted a house that is completely free from weak spots because we wanted to build a well-defended system, and just like in cybersecurity. Now, take a look at this house. So, ang laki ng pagkakaiba niya dun sa first picture, di ba? So, this house itself is like our systems, our networks, and data. And notice how this house have a lot of weak spots. Meron tayong broken windows, open yung gate, yung mga pintuan, walang mga locks or kung ano man na dapat i-implement para hindi makapasok yung mga intruders. And just like in cybersecurity, that's what we call vulnerabilities. So yung mga vulnerabilities, yung broken windows is like the unpatched systems. Yung open gates are like the misconfigured access controls. Missing locks is like the non-use of the password and all other vulnerabilities or weak spots when it comes to cybersecurity. And then we have what we call the cyber threat actors or parang sila yung tantamount sa burglars. So ito yung mga sa cybersecurity, yung mga threat actors, hackers, malware, mga phishing attempts, lahat trying to break in doon sa bahay natin. So just like the burglars do, they always look for weak spots para hindi na sila mag-e-effort. Titingnan na lang sila ng pinakamadaling attack entry point para pasukin ko yung bahay. And that's what happens in cybersecurity as well. Yung mga cyber attackers, yung mga threat actors, they always look for vulnerabilities sa mga systems natin, sa network natin, so that they can take over and go in our systems and do whatever they need to do, whether they're going to steal our data, our money, or cause chaos. Yun ang mga ginagawa nila. That's why in cybersecurity, our goal is to identify what are the different weak spots, but it doesn't stop there. Once we identify the weak spots, we should be able to implement the actions on how to address the weak spots and address the issue. But here's the key. Sa isang bahay in a real house, someone has to step up and take the responsibility na siya yung mangunguna in terms of orchestrating on how these weak spots should be implemented. So parang sa bahay, kunwari yung tatay, siya yung mangunguna na. Ayusin yung bintana, bumili tayo ng bagong lock, ayusin natin yung pintuan. So parang ganun si cyber governance. Si cyber governance, it is the leadership that leads all the family members in terms of securing the house. And he is the one who's making sure that the rules are clear, responsibilities are assigned, and everyone is accountable for the rules assigned to them. And we can say that without governance, it's like a house na walang rules, walang pakialam yung mga tao doon. In short, it all has the weak spots at ini-invite nyo lahat ng mga threat actors to come in. So, cyber attackers don't break walls. They just slip through the cracks, the weak spots. Ito yung sinasabi natin na kapag pinabayaan natin yung mga vulnerabilities and weak spots, hindi na mag-e-effort yung mga threat actors para na lang silang pumapasok with grace and do whatever they need to do sa loob ng bahay natin. That's why we need to fix these weak spots before someone else finds them. Okay, so kanina pinag-usapan natin kung ano yung itsura ng isang bahay na maraming weak spots. Now, let's look into this picture. So imagine that this is the house that is fully secured. So we've built in fences, which represents the network security. Ang purpose natin dito, we wanted to keep the strangers from walking in straight into our house. We've also added some locks or alarms. So parang ito yung mga endpoint advanced security sa mga assets natin, sa mga laptop, servers, and all other assets. Na ito yung magpo-protect ng mga devices natin. And then on top of that, we're also installing some security cameras which acts like our monitoring and detection system kasi ito yung magiging mata natin. Ano ba yung mga nangyayari doon sa mga assets natin na malicious in terms of the behavior? So nagkakaroon tayo ngayon ng visibility. And kapag may visibility tayo, we know how to act. Alam natin kung ano yung actions na dapat natin gawin to protect our assets. And this is what cybersecurity is all about. Hindi siya iisang implementation lang ng defensive layer. We need to implement multiple layers of defenses. So for those na capable naman na magbayad ng malaki at merong budget, yung iba naglalagay ng safe room, so parang ito yung data protection ni cybersecurity, yung iba very sophisticated. Meron sila mga process in place. They know how to act if there are incidents and all other multiple layers of protection. So the message here is that cybersecurity doesn't stop in just one layer of defense. Dapat multiple layers of defense ang ginagawa natin so that when one defense fails, all others are there to back it up. So that's how we keep our digital safe home. As we say, a weak house is an open target and a secured house is a fortress. And we can say that vulnerabilities expose you and layers of defense protect you. Okay. Now, we've seen yung kanina nating example. Ito yung mga physical defense that we implement to protect our house. So parang similar kay cybersecurity. Ito yung mga different technologies na in-investa natin. But think about it. a truly safe home isn't just about having the physical defenses. It also has this strategic or intangible safeguards, which comprise of our culture, the habits, the rules, and the awareness that everyone should implement within their household. So, for example, 'di ba, yung mga rules natin na before tayo matulog, dapat isarado natin yung pinto, isarado ang bintana, etc. O dapat yung susi natin sa atin lang na nakatira dito. So, ito yung mga invisible practices na just as important as the hardware. So, in cybersecurity, beyond the technology, it's equally important to have policies, awareness, discipline, and accountability. And this is what the strategic safeguards is all about. Ito yung governance, risk management, and compliance management. So si governance is like the blueprint of the cyber house. So yung blueprint natin, ito yung mga house rules, security policies. Yung structural foundation naman is tantamount to the leadership na siya yung nangunguna in terms of implementing the cybersecurity, and then yung deeds and ownership is on the documentation. And then we do have the homeowners association. So in short, ito yung mga uh, planning and managing of a secure home. It ensures that the whole house is built properly, and yung house na yon has set of rules that everyone follows to keep it safe from any threat actors. And then we have the risk management. So risk management acts like the safety plan. So ang pinaka-importante dito is we constantly look for weak spots and then prevent them from being a risk to become an issue. So risk management includes this security system plan, which is ito yung mga alarms, locks, and cameras. Continuous improvement, which is identifying the hazards and then implementing the safety rules. So the thing here is, sa governance, sineset natin yung mga policies and guidelines on what to implement so that we ensure that security is experienced inside the house. So risk management naman ensures na kung ano yung mga rules na dinefine mo sa governance are being followed and being monitored. And constantly, nagbibigay ng feedback kung yung mga policies na yon are effective or not. So that's risk management, ensuring that the risks identified will not become an issue later on. Kasi lahat ng mga naplano mo sa governance are being implemented. And then we do have the compliance management. It's all about following the laws and getting and all the certifications that you need to get. So ito yung mga building codes. It's about meeting the legal and regulatory requirements, and then the occupancy permit. So ito yung mga papel na nagsa-certify na you really own the house and nagpass siya ng mga security standards or safety standards. So, compliance management shows na yung house natin ay hindi lang secure, but it is officially approved and trustworthy. So, these are the intangible or the strategic safeguards. And as we say, true security is more than just locks and walls. It's about habits that we do, the culture that we imbibe in order for us to implement the security inside our house. So, kung ang cybersecurity is like securing the home, and si cyber governance is what we do so that the house stays secure, we can then say that cyber governance keeps the house in order. Si governance yung nagtatay together ng lahat ng implementation from technology, process, people, and intelligence. This is the invisible framework that makes the security mindset and builds the culture and look at cybersecurity not just a set of tools. And without it, even the strongest implementation or the locks will be meaningless kung hindi guided lahat ng tao on how to implement cybersecurity. So cyber governance is all about the component of aligning on the strategy that will be implemented. It involves policies, processes, and structures. And the key aspects of it, as mentioned earlier, is all about policies and procedures and standards, and defining who does what, roles and responsibilities. Kasi doon sa ating policies and standards, nakalagay doon, ano ba yung mga dapat nating gawin? Pero hindi dapat siya nagsa-stop doon. Dapat identify din natin sino ang gagawa ng ano. And third, most importantly, dapat alam din natin kung align ba yung ating cybersecurity doon sa business objectives and standards ng company. So that's in a nutshell what cybersecurity is. So now, let's bring the house analogy directly to cyber governance. So just like the house, meron tayong blueprint. So it's like the standards and the procedures in cybersecurity. We have the foundations. As mentioned kanina, yung foundation, it's like the leadership and accountability, yung pundasyon na mangunguna on how to implement the security in the house. Then we have the rules, which are the policies and the guidelines in cybersecurity. We have the manual. So ito yung sinusundan natin. So it's like the training and awareness kasi ito yung mag-guide sa mga tao on how to implement cybersecurity in general. Then we do have the homeowners association. This is the oversight and the continuous improvement. So parang di ba sa mga home association, nagmi-meeting-meeting, tapos pinag-uusapan doon, ano ba yung mga improvements na dapat nating implement? What we have done right, what we have done wrong, and if we're going to repeat it again, ano ba yung mga dapat nating implement? So parang ganon, si homeowners association. Then we have the legal documents. So this is about the documentations and reports. And it's very important in cyber governance kasi ito yung nagiging guide ng lahat in driving decisions, in driving plans. Kaya it's very important that we document and we report it to the top management so that guided yung kanilang decisions moving forward. And then lastly, ito yung neighborhood watch is like the stakeholder communication and collaboration. So parang yung homeowners association sa neighborhood, we watch at each other's back, making sure na lahat ng implementation natin are successful. So this is governance, looking at governance through the lens of a house. So now that we know what cybersecurity is in real life, we need both the tangible, which is yung mga nakikita natin na defenses, as well as the intangibles, which is represented by governance, risk management, as well as compliance management. Now, balikan natin yung kanina nating pinag-usapan ng mga real-life scenarios. We wanted to wrap up our discussion para makita natin ano ba yung mga governance lessons, ano ba yung naging impact nito, and what are the key takeaways sa atin so that we can prevent this from happening again. So going back dito sa Uber concealment scandal, the governance lesson here is that there's a failure of ethical and people governance. Ang sabi nga natin, character is built by doing the right thing even no one is looking. And just like with governance, we should have honesty, timely disclosure, and we need, kumbaga ang ipaprioritize natin, how do we protect our customers and users instead of concealing the truth? So this scandal led to lawsuits and executive accountability. And the key takeaway here is that governance is more than controls. It's all about ethics, accountability, and compliance. And then on the SolarWinds chain naman, the lesson here is that there's a failure of people, yung nga walang CISO sa SolarWinds, intelligence, and supply chain governance. The lesson here is that governance doesn't stop within the organization itself. Dapat nakikita din natin yung engagement outside of the organization, lalong-lalo na yung engagement natin sa mga suppliers natin, sa mga vendors natin, to ensure that cybersecurity is implemented in an end-to-end manner. So as an impact, it has triggered lawsuits, regulatory scrutiny, and loss of confidence. Key takeaway is that governance isn't just about building defenses. It's about managing our partners, monitoring threats, most especially. Imagine naglinger yung threat actor doon for years or for months, and then acting on intelligence before the attackers do. And then lastly, on the BSOD of CrowdStrike, there is the lesson on the failure of process governance. It's very important. Yan ang pinaka-core ng governance. What are the different frameworks and process that must be implemented para guided lahat ng tao on how to implement cybersecurity in a good manner? So the impact, grounded flight, it crashed the devices of millions of Windows worldwide. And then it triggered lawsuits and inquiries and calls for a stronger process of governance. The key takeaway is that governance ensures quality control and responsible rollout of processes. So, our call to action, ano ba ang dapat nating gawin? Ngayon na naiintindihan na natin yung impact ng poor governance. So, we started out with real-world cases. And then we compared cybersecurity into a house. Ang sabi nga natin, no matter how strong the lock is, no matter how sophisticated it is, kapag may nakalimot naman na isarado yung pinto, baliwala din yung sophistication ng mga countermeasures natin. And here's the biggest takeaway for everyone. Governance isn't just for CEOs, for CIOs, or CISOs. It starts with us. Yung mga small act of governance natin, like having a strong password, checking before we click, lahat yon ay nagko-constitute ng culture natin and security mindset. Because in the end, strong defenses fail without strong governance. And strong governance starts with you. So that's my session for this afternoon. I hope you get to appreciate what governance is because this is the most undervalued discipline when it comes to cybersecurity. Back to you, President Rubio. Medyo matagal pala. Medyo na humaba ang aking presentation. Passion ko kasi talaga tong governance.
Okay, okay lang. Bitin nga eh, bitin. But thank you, VP Ellen for that very insightful alam mo, maganda yung pagkaka-compare mo dun sa bahay, eh, no? Parang kasi tama yung sinabi mo, yung parang highfalutin when you say go,
Oo.
no?
Nandami na intimidate. Pag governance, ay ano yan? Ganun agad.
Right. But comparing it to house, medyo parang naka-relate naman ang lahat, even sa mga non-techie, no? Alright, so let me just read yung sinabi dito ni Mr. Chair. Ang sabi niya, without governance in cybersecurity, your efforts are not measured, not grounded, and not sustainable. And also, sa risk management naman, also coming from Mr. Chair, without risk management, the operations is not guided and objective. Without governance, risk management practice is weak. If governance, risk management, and operations are weak, you'll never be compliant to laws, policies, and regulations. Ayan. Alright. Very well said din, Mr.
Right.
Chair. Parang nag-discuss ka rin sa amin, Mr. Chair. So, thank you. And very quickly lang, I just want to say, shout out kay VP Ben, Izra, no, nag-watching siya kasi meron lang siyang client meeting kaya hindi siya naka-join. And also kay VP George na nasa Iloilo. Huwag mo na kaming bigyan ng pasalubong, VP George, ha?
Pag na yung Napoleones, ayaw namin.
Wag na rin yan. Right. Okay, nandiyo rin si VP Mark, andito pa tsaka si VP Attorney Gerald.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Ayan, okay.
Good
Hi,
afternoon.
VP Mike.
Yan,
Attorney.
mamihingi natin sila ng mga takeaway. But before that, VP Ellen, meron lang tanong dito, no? Kasi kanina sinabi mo na you said the word compliance, no, in the duration of your presentation. And then
Yep.
later part, you also mentioned about the culture. No? So, my question here is parang to many people, no, especially in organization, parang tingin nila sa governance is just compliance. Now,
Yes.
how do you, I mean, or what can you give us, no, tip, no, especially for those who are into governance then, or at least into cybersecurity, in charge of cybersecurity, paano natin ito twist, no, yung from the mindset of a compliance-driven governance to simply, it should be culture-driven governance.
Oo. Kasi I think yun yung isa sa mga nakita ko na usual misconception about governance. Ako, coming from my experience, to be honest, for the longest time, yung aking exposure, parang governance in a way. But for some other groups, kasi before ako naging cybersecurity, naging part ako ng IT. Tapos naging part ako ng network. And most of the time, nasa project management office ako slash governance. And unfortunately, ang tingin lang talaga nila sa governance, parang administrative in nature, na tagatawag ng meeting, magdodocument ka, sulat ka ng policies, na para kang ginagawang secretary. And ito yung isa sa mga pinakamagandang nangyari when I joined cybersecurity. Kasi si governance, hindi siya tinreat as an administrative task, but governance was treated as if it's one of the most important discipline that must be implemented sa isang organization or isang department. Kasi as the word itself suggests, governance. So ang ibig sabihin nun, you should govern, you should strategize, you should orchestrate, you should direct ano ba dapat yung ginagawa ng bawat isa. Hindi naman sinabi na pag governance ka, secretary ka, diyan ka lang sa tabi. Panindigan mo kung anong ibig sabihin ng governance, which is to be the leader, to be strategic, and to govern para ma-implement kung ano yung dapat na i-implement. And I think nagmamature na yung governance as we go along, and ito nga yung isa sa mga advocacies na ginagawa natin dito sa Pixpro and kami din sa ATR and Associates, na when we deal with our customers, we always state na it's not enough that we implement yung mga countermeasures. First, we need to review and improve ano ba yung governance framework in the first place. Kasi kung dediretso tayo agad doon sa implementation ng technology, tapos wala namang pagbabatayan na policy, wala namang pagbabatayan na standard on how to do it, baliwala din siya. So parang ganito lang yan. Para mag-implement ka ng firewall. Pero paano mo gagawing effective ang firewall? Number one, dapat alam mo kung yung ano yung mga policies ng firewall na i-implement mo. Kasi yun yung magdidictate kung paano gagana yung firewall. Second, kung naset mo na yung policies ng firewall, sino ang gagamit ng firewall? Sino ang titingin doon? Kasi kahit gaano ka-sophisticated ang firewall mo or any technology countermeasure, kung wala namang titingin at wala namang gagamit at wala namang mag interpret kung ano yung naging result nun, baliwala siya. And yun yung ginagawa namin sa ATR and Associates, na ang sinasabi nga namin, what sets us apart is hindi tayo yung box pushing or technology pushing na kapag binili mo, install and forget. Kami hindi. We wanted to make sure na kung ano yung binigay namin sa'yo na security solutions is up and running, na-appreciate nyo yung return of investment. Kasi nakikita nyo kung ano talaga yung value na binibring in sa table ng mga implementation na to. So hindi siya compliance lang, malalim ang governance.
Yeah, oo nga. Um, and very interesting too, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tsaka nandiyan yung laban kasi culture siya eh. So it's really all about um, how do you change the mindset of those that are resistant? Kasi
Right.
most often than not, governance is all about process and policies which may impact the ways of working. So syempre kung ako, comfortable na ako on how to do things, di ba? Tapos sasabihin mo sa akin, governance, mali ang ginagawa mo. Kasi sabi ni ISO ganyan-ganyan. Ito yung standard on how to do things. So it's really a battle of mind and people and negotiating na hindi kami nandito to threaten you. We are here to improve. Kasi ito yung framework na dapat nating ini-implement. So it's
Yeah.
very challenging and exciting and fulfilling at the same time.
Yes, no? And kailangan talaga yung mga nandyan sa governance, you're very persistent, no? Kapag ayaw pa nila, then you try again. Hanggang
Oo,
sa
pag ayaw nila,
point.
ganyan ka pa
Oo.
rin.
Oo, tuloy lang, 'di ba? Kasi
Mm-mm.
you cannot stop no? Yung parang pag binigay
Correct.
mo na and they don't follow, you just say, oh, they don't follow because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, kailangan lahat sila sumunod dito sa
Yes.
governance na to, 'di ba?
Oo, andito
Okay,
ang laban.
correct.
Governance, come on, guys. Kailangan namin ng maraming governance warriors.
Yes, governance there is. Okay. Now, maraming mga tools ngayon, no, na nakikita natin. So, itong GRC na to, you think AI can help in simplifying the complexity of this? And okay, if that's the case, hindi ba naman mawawala yung tinatawag natin wisdom and knowledge of the people doing all this GRC because of their dependence in AI?
Hindi naman, actually, it's really complementing eh. As we always say nga, yung paggamit natin ng AI, tayo pa rin naman yung masusunod eh. Kasi when we make use of AI, i-treat natin siya as a tool. Hindi tayo yung pinapasunod niya. In fact, dito sa ginagawa namin sa GRC, napaka-helpful ni AI kasi we're checking sa kanya, tapos nabibigay agad siya ng sagot na ano ba yung mga different aspects that we need to look out for. Ano ba yung mga scenarios na pwede nating i-run to implement governance. So, sa atin, we should treat AI as a tool at hindi si AI ang masusunod at susunod tayo. So, kumbaga, tayo pa rin dapat talaga. It's a tool. Hindi siya threat at hindi rin siya something na ginagawa tayong tamad mag-isip.
Right. So it's a tool, hindi siya pampalit sa tao.
No.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, that's it. Those are the questions that I have. Meron lang dito, ang sabi is if you can get a copy of this presentation. Actually, this will be posted, no? So, pwede niyong puntahan yung Pixpro page because itong session na to will be posted there and you can listen to it or you can view it again over and over until makuha nyo ito, fully grasp ninyo itong discussion natin for this afternoon. Alright? And then, sabi din ni Mr. Chair, it's crystal clear lecture, VP Ellen. And then si VP Ben, sabi niya, agree by. Alright. And one more from Mairan Datu, we follow the framework, yet there's tailoring
True.
sorry. Yet there's tailoring
What
what
suits
suits
the
the
environment.
environment. Yes, okay.
Yes.
Right there.
Actually, just wanted to answer that. Kaya yung sinabi natin sa cyber governance, it's very important that you align your policies to the objectives, to the vision, mission, objectives, and strategies of the business. Kasi no matter how sophisticated these policies were written, kung hindi naman siya aligned doon sa goals ng company, baliwala lang. So tama ka doon, sir. Dapat kino-custom fit mo yung framework.
Yes, yes. So, 1 point ka dyan, Mr. Datu. Okay, and nakita ko kanina meron tayong from Qatar and from all over the world, I guess. So, maraming salamat sa inyo. And thank you, VP Allen, for that very insightful
Welcome.
presentation. VP Mike, I know you're still
Hi,
there.
yeah,
Hello. Yeah, VP Mike, would just like to get your takeaway in our discussion for this afternoon.
yep. Although I'm driving lang, no, pero ang dami ko natutunan kay VP Ellen. So coming from kanina napag-usapan yung mga vendors, no. And as you know,
Oo.
I'm from a vendor, no. So from a vendor guy perspective, I have to agree doon sa kanina, no, na especially doon sa hindi ko napapangalanan pero yung mga cybersecurity companies na nagkaroon ng breach, no. So
Mm.
for those who are watching from probably different companies, different organizations who belongs to IT or especially cybersecurity team or compliance team, no. So ganun po talaga, no, wag mo itatali yung sarili mo sa isang vendor or what we call vendor lock-in, no. Kasi whatever happens to that vendor, nakatali ka sa kanila, wala kang magagawa, para kang hinold up, no. And
Correct.
going doon sa principles of GRC, this actually I love to say this over and over to the presentations na ginagawa ko sa mga customers namin, no, that we always go back to the basic principles, the process, the people, process, and tools. Although kanina merong additional CBPL and the intelligence, no, very
Intelligence.
particular
That's what
to,
sets cybersecurity
yes,
apart. Mm-hmm.
yep. So that's very specific for cybersecurity, but
Yes.
for probably a general analogy or general or generic, I mean, no? So the people, process, and tools. So people should be, aware. You should have your people trained.
Yeah.
You have the right skill set for particular tasks, particular jobs, or kung ano man distinction ng roles nila. Proper process should be in place. So kagaya niyan, may mga regulations, may mga compliance, etc. So dapat may sinusunod na na proseso yung mga tao. And of course, tools, no? To put controls to kanina nabanggit din ni President Rubino yung AI. AI is one of the tools that we can use to automate
Yes.
whatever it is that we need to or we have to execute, no? So I always go back to that basic, the people, process, and tools, no? And yeah, I think that's it for me. Thank you so much, VPL. Ang dami naming natutunan sa'yo.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you, VP Mike. And let's hear it from VP Attorney GV.
Hey, good evening. Ay, good afternoon pala. First, thank you VP Ellen for that very comprehensive lecture. So, yung key takeaway ko naman po di sa case natin today is that yung cybersecurity, when we think of it, hindi siya purely technical talaga. So, meron ngayong governance side, which is very important because itong governance side, it address yung mga yung weakest link pagdating sa cybersecurity, which is yung human factor. So itong cybersecurity, it is a shared responsibility ng lahat po, from the pinaka-bottom na employee or part ng organization up to the highest level. So it's a shared responsibility. So that's all po. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney. Again, and all right, we have 2 more minutes, so I think I'll have my share of the learnings for this afternoon. First off, I'd like to say thank you, VP Ellen. Yung learning ko sa session, I think, is that yung the governance really gives you the direction, no?
Yes.
Tapos yung risk naman is putting things to make sure that you are prepared for any untoward incidents. And then yung compliance naman, it's not just about you following the laws and everything, but it's more like creating the credibility of the organization by by complying, no? So parang yun yung aking learnings for this session. So yun, maraming salamat ulit at maraming salamat din sa ating mga ka-Pix Pro na nakinig, nanood at nakisali sa ating diskusyon. Yung iba dito nagsasabi na sabi ni VP Ben, salamat VP Ellen, I will definitely listen to your lecture again and again. So with that, magkita-kita tayong muli sa next Friday. Okay. At kung sa iba ay nagre-ready na sila, no, for their happy weekend, pero sa atin sa cybersecurity, happy lang.
Happy lang.
Walang
weekend.
weekend. Maraming salamat. Thank you, VP Ellen.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Kapix Pro, thank you.